talking about the sad state of affairs in the American marketplace. I have to be honest, I was unaware that other countries were not buying American red wine because of fluoride levels. That was a new one for me. And I think in summary here, and I'm going to let you get a little more talking done this segment, but I think in summary, the message of this show to the listeners is you've got to be your own guard against bad products, because the U.S. government, those agencies, those mechanisms that were supposed to be in place, that are paid for by our tax dollars, they're not there anymore. They've been shut down and looted so that Bush could spend more money on his war, or in many cases they're compromised by the very corporations they're supposed to keep an eye on. I believe that the National Cancer Institutes just had a brand new lab built for them, bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical companies. Golly gee whiz, do you think maybe they're going to be a little bit less than objective in analyzing that company's products?
Exactly. What we have to be is we have to be our own scientists. We have to, each one of us, become a scientist and an investigator, and we have to look into these issues, and we have to find out, you know, well, what would be an optimal diet for us. And basically, the best thing that we could do right now is to try to avoid everything with fluoride in it, and there are over a dozen pharmaceuticals that also are fluoridated, and most people don't realize that. And I do medical transcription in addition to writing. And some of the lists of the medications that I see people taking, they're taking up to 16 medications a day, and several of them will be fluoridated medicines, and the doctors don't even know it. I phoned the manufacturer of Levaquin, and I asked them how much bioavailable fluoride gets into the system after one consumes 1/800 dose of your 800 milligram dose of your Levaquin. And they had me speak with a scientist and a medical specialist there, and both of them laughed at me, and they said, you don't get fluoride from our product, you get it from toothpaste and drinking water.
Well, one of the things that we need to be aware of, and this is true not only for fluoride, but a lot of the other chemicals that are in not only our food and our products, but in other pharmaceuticals, is the cross reactions can be an issue. I know a lot of people still don't know that acetaminophen and alcohol will damage your liver permanently.
Right.
But these computer programs at the pharmacies that are designed to warn about interactions between the drugs, they're looking at the active ingredients only.
Right.
They are usually not looking at the fillers, the boosters, the preservatives. That's really the issue. I mean, if you look at the whole, the linkage between vaccination and autism, it had nothing to do with the active vaccine itself. It had to do with the preservative. Nobody was looking at this mercury-based preservative that was in there as well. Now they're putting these vaccines, 20 and 30, in a single shot, and there's no idea about how they're interacting with each other once they're inside the body. It's a very reckless approach to medicine, but it cranks up the profits. You know, stick with the needle, $5. Stick with the needle, $5. Just over and over and over again.
Right.
And I think the fact that our medical establishment is really interested about money and not people is illustrated by the prescription drug fiasco, where they literally made it illegal for people living near the Canadian border to drive over the border and buy prescription medicines in Canada at a much lower price. The excuse given was that the Canadian pharmacies probably had a much lower quality of medications than the United States pharmacy did, and that this was being done to protect the health and safety of the American people. Then we find out that the Canadian pharmacies and the American pharmacies are getting their pills from the same factory in China. So, you know, it was just about protecting profits.
Why should we be surprised? Oh my goodness.
It's just amazing. Well, listen, Mary, is there a website where people can go and look at your writings and get some more information about this?
They can go to my website, which is Sparrowdancer.com, and but probably the easiest way to get my papers, which I'm not religious about putting up on my website, is to just go and run a search engine. Google has some. Yahoo has over 100,000 sites featuring my papers, and put in the topic you want to read about after you've put my name in, and if it's fluoride, you'll come up with an entire list of articles. And you can also go to Jeff Rent's, his website, and he keeps my first major fluoride paper up on the front page all the time. So those are just a couple of possibilities.
All right. Well, Mary, thank you very much for spending time with us today, and we'll have you back on the show somewhere down the road. Thank
you so much for having me, and I really appreciate it.
You got it. All right, that was Mary Sparrowdancer, and talking about, well, in her case, she focuses on fluoride, but it's a general issue. There are some very toxic, reactive chemicals that are in our food supply, our water supply, they're in our products. Nobody is really keeping an eye on them. You must do it.